And why do you say that because this world has order, therefore God? Why can you go from that to that?
You bet. When I went to college, I wanted to get good grades. Unfortunately, in order to get good grades, I had to study very hard. When I went to college, I wanted to play major college basketball. The only problem is it's really hard to put a ball through a hoop 10 feet above the court. It doesn't happen by accident.
Okay, I don't think anyone says that the universe or any of this came about by accident. We're saying that it comes about through natural processes, which are not accidents or random chance.
What are they then?
Well, as far as we can tell, from which they started, these laws that were set, that were present, caused this to happen.
Oh.
I mean, it's not random chance or accident.
What are chance mutations?
Well, those can be explained through natural processes, even if we don't understand them. I mean, like, if you look close enough, I'm sure you can describe exactly what mutations are going to happen. They aren't necessarily chance mutations at that point. We call them chance mutations because we can't look that deep, and because we have random samples, we have a lot of samples, and we can see which ones are most likely to come about. It's not really because they happen absolutely randomly. I mean, I don't know what the point of that was, I guess.
Sir, there is no way that you can escape the fact, philosophically, that if there is no mind and things just come together, it's by chance, at least to some extent. It's partially by chance, if not totally. You can't escape that.
I guess I don't see why that would be true at all, though.
Well, in order for there to be order in all of my observation and experience, there's got to be an intelligent mind. And if there is no intelligent mind, then things just happen.
Okay, so because there's order, like let's take Saturn, for example. That has order. Saturn has its order. It has rings. It has that weird hexagonal thing on the top of it, this hexagonal storm. It has all these wonderful orderly things, but there was no mind behind that. It simply happened because of natural processes. This is why you can put things into a mathematical system and have patterns come out. And we can say those patterns have order, but they didn't happen because of a mind. They happened because of science. They happened because of math.
No, sir, they didn't happen because of science. Science is a description of the way it happened.
I guess I said that wrong.
Science does not answer the question, is there an intelligent mind behind it or not?
It does.
That's a philosophical question, not a scientific question.
But because we don't know the origin, and because we don't know why is it then that we can say, therefore there must be a mind?
Because you got to move out of science class into philosophy class, in logic. And you've got to ask yourself, is it more logical, is it more reasonable to believe that chance comes about, that order comes about by chance, or is it more reasonable to believe that order comes about from an intelligent mind? That's not science. That's philosophy class. See, science, hard science, is a study of the process, right? It's based on experiments. And you better be able to do your experiment in London, England, and Calcutta, India, as well as in Austin, Texas. Otherwise, it's not science. Repeatability of an experiment to verify how something happens. That's science. The question, is there an intelligent mind behind this process, is not a scientific question. It's a philosophical, theological question. So in order to answer the question, does God exist? You can't stay in science class. You got to move out into philosophy, into theology, and ask yourself, what is more reasonable? To believe that order and design comes about by chance, or to believe that order and design is a result of an intelligent mind? Now that's why I referred to me in college, trying to get A's. Me in college trying to get a ball through hoop 10 feet off the floor. I couldn't do it well enough. I didn't get to play. Okay? To argue that someone can get an A on an exam by chance, to argue that someone can put a ball through a hoop by chance, is absurd for me. Because all of my observation and all of my experience is order and design, be it an A on an exam or be it putting a ball through a hoop, takes incredible coordination, thought, intent.
Okay. I guess let me move on to the second one. You said the uncaused cause, right?
Yeah.
And I guess this goes with what we were just talking about. I don't think anyone is saying that the universe came about by chance. I know you hear people saying it, but I don't agree with them because we don't know what caused the universe. That isn't saying that it came about by chance. We're just saying that we don't know, and that's not a bad thing to say. We don't know, but I guess the uncaused cause thing. I've heard this before. I guess. Why can you say that the uncaused cause is therefore God? Why can't it be another natural thing that is outside the universe, or something that caused the universe into existence and is not any sort of mindful God? I mean,
Well, you can
so
say anything you want to. The question is, does it make sense?
It can.
So what on earth are you talking about?
I mean, just like I can't describe what it is, but just because I can't doesn't mean it can't be anything else. I mean, let's say there's this spark somewhere else, and that somewhere outside of the universe. I mean, it doesn't sound right, but let's say it was. Let's say it was this event outside of the universe that caused the universe into existence. I mean, then that would blow God out of the water, and then we'll have even more. Let's say, what caused that event to cause? What caused God? Let's say. I mean, you can keep going, and if you do find an uncaused cause, what's to say that that thing is God? I mean, it doesn't make any sense to say that.
Okay. So you just go ahead and say it doesn't make any sense, but it's possible. And I'm standing here saying, I can't live my life that way, sir. I follow the evidence. And it's a cop-out for me to say, well, I can't explain it, and there's no evidence for it, but if it's true, then it'll blow God out of the water. Are you serious? You can live your life that way?
Well, I don't see any evidence for God. So, I mean, as far as I know, well, I don't know is the point. And I can't say that there is a God because I don't know.
Okay, well, you live your life making moral decisions.
Yeah.
Many of those moral decisions you are convinced are really true. That's why you use the word should and ought. Sir, if those morals that you hold to so tightly are real and true, it points you to a moral lawgiver.
Okay.
That sounds like God.
Yeah. So objective morality is your point, right?
Right.
I don't believe in objective morality.
Really?
Yes. But
if I go and kick her in the face, what are you going to say to me?
that's not the point.
No, that is the point, sir. That's the exact point.
Of course, if you kick somebody in the face,
Yeah.
I believe that is wrong. But why I believe it is wrong is not because of objective morality. Everybody shares an opinion about what's right and what's wrong. Other people have different opinions. Other people have another opinion. And we can argue about them, and we can decide what is actually valuable to us, and then we can make a decision about what we should or should not do, depending on that criteria. And I mean, just because we can't decide about what's right and wrong, doesn't mean there isn't this sort of better answer.
I'm sorry, you missed my whole point. Okay, we'll start over. If I walk up to her, kick her in the jaw, I don't think you're going to look at me and say, Cliff, from my perspective that was wrong, from your perspective it was right. It's just a matter of opinion. You're not going to live your life that way.
I'm not going to say that because of language. That would be too long to say. Of course I'm going to say that.
No, now you're copping out on me. Stick with me, please.
No, I'm not copping out.
Yes, you are. You're running away. Stop running away. You know very well that if I kick her in the jaw, something deep within you is going to say, that was wrong, objectively wrong. You're going to feel that so intensely, you're going to be so convicted, that you're going to look me in the face and say, Cliff, don't kick anybody ever again the way you just kicked her.
Okay.
You're laying it right on the line.
Yeah.
You're not in la-la land telling me, well, maybe it was right, maybe it was wrong, but I understand it's all a matter of your definition. You're not going to do that. You can't live that way. Instead, you're going to live as if me kicking her in the jaw is absolutely, objectively wrong. Am I wrong or am I right?
Well, I'm not going to say that it's objective, but...
Baloney.
What?
You're not being truthful.
I am being truthful.
No, you're not.
How do you know?
Because I'm convinced that if I go kick her in the jaw, you're not going to say that's an option, that's acceptable.
No.
You're not going to do that.
Of course it's an option for you, but I'm going to say that if you kick her in the jaw, that should not have been done because, well, inside me I'm going to feel, wow, this guy's a dangerous person. He just kicked her in the jaw. But why I tell you that that's wrong and why you should be punished is because if I don't do that, then it causes this sort of social, I guess, I'm not good at speaking here, but it causes this social idea that doing that will get you punished, and then therefore other people won't do that. I mean, it's a lot more complicated than what I'm saying right now, but I mean, that's why we say that's wrong, don't do that, because then when we punish you, then you'll be less likely to do it in the future, and other people will be less likely to do it in the future.
All right, it's real simple, sir. You said it beautifully. If I kick her in the jaw, you're going to tell me you should not. When you use the word should not, you are appealing to an objective moral.
No.
Yep, absolutely. Should not. What does that mean? Should not. Ought not. You're appealing to a standard outside of the three of us. And you're saying, Cliff, when you kicked her in the jaw, that was wrong. Not just because I'm threatened, but because you violated shouldness, oughtness. Where do you get shouldness? Where do you get oughtness? You only get it if it's a real value that you're appealing to, and you're hoping that I have a conscience that's operating that ties me into that real value of shouldness, justness, justice.